Get ready for the Squawking Eagles Podcast, the show that covers only the Philadelphia Eagles. Think different. Think Squawking Eagles Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the Squawking Eagles Podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I'm joined by Miguel.
If you smell what the Eagles could be drafting.
You are getting psyched up for this weekend's WrestleMania.
Let's go. WO shirt on.
And Mark, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's my time of year. Drafts.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's our draft guru here. Some of these guys, these people are drafting. I don't think I've even heard any of their names before, to be honest with you. I've heard a couple. That's about it.
It's just hilarious the amount of mock drafts that these people come out with. It's just like I'm ready for it to be over. To be honest with you, I'm like this has been the most drugged out I've ever felt about the draft. Like, let's go.
And if Miguel, I should just throw you into this messaging between this mock draft that this guy has done.
Don't do it to him. It's
like so much talk back and forth. Like, what was it? Was it last night or was it the night before? It was a Tuesday night. It was Tuesday night.
Monday night or Tuesday night or last night or tonight?
It was supposed to happen on Monday night.
Never stopped.
And Mark tried to get on it, and it blew up. The guy's computer just couldn't handle the amount of people coming on and trying to do it. Then he tried to do it on Tuesday, still didn't work. And then they tried to do it on Discord, and I just sat and listened to them on the Discord, like the talking back and forth on the Discord. It was like, I don't know.
The talking back and forth on the Discord was the cleanest and most calm that any of it was.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh, yeah. By a long shot.
Wow. And they still have
the whole Discord was your boy's idea, right?
Yeah,
Because everyone was a nightmare. So the biggest issue was, right? So Miguel, this guy decides he wants to host this podcast. He wants to live stream a podcast, 32 teams, a draft from different podcasts or groups for each team. Cool, great idea, love it. All the props to the Patriots Focus for trying to organize this. A lot of work going into it. There was no preparation. It's funny because I was actually teaching my daughter about preparation the other day about you can be ready for anything if you're prepared for it. If you work in advance to be ready for what may come.
Yep.
He had, and I didn't know this afterwards, like a basic, like not much more than a Chromebook. And he thinks he's going to live stream on YouTube with 32 people. Now, even the best PCs are going to struggle with that much video footage, trying to condense and send all that out. That's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
It instantly crashed his PC just for him trying to stream himself. I watched his stream when he put it up. His audio was broken. He couldn't get anyone in there. So he tried to stream it through Instagram. That didn't work. None of it was prepared. None of it was organized. It organized by getting people together and setting a date. And that was about as far as he got. And again, hats off to him for trying to do it and bringing people together. It's a great idea. I like it.
It was very ambitious.
But yeah, there was no preparation for it. People were arguing. Some of the people's like podcasts from other, I presume podcasts, the support teams or whatever they were moaning, complaining, and throwing hissy fits and talking about how poor everything was. And it was like, bro, he's a kid, or he seems like a kid, younger guy.
Yeah.
It was a crazy thing to try with no effort. And I tried to pop in there because they're like, oh, well, this app's not working. Let's try calls. Let's try Teams. Let's try, what we do, with Google. And I was like,
yeah.
God. And everyone's like, oh, we can only be an hour or it can only be this or it's only that. We got to pay money. I'm like, just do Discord. Just do a Discord. Everyone jump in, video when you can. Everyone else stays on mics. I pop in and out with guests. I can make it real quick and easy. People do it all the time. There's Discord channels with like raps. My buddy used to be a part of where like there's 1,000 people in there and everyone's muted and there's a host who brings you in and lets you do like rap, like freestyle and all that, and then you get muted again and then people talk about it, but it works because the system works. So
it sounds like we might be doing that next year through Discord. Sounds like that we're going to do that next year.
I think it's the right way to go.
Have fun with that.
That was a nightmare.
I'm already checking out.
Miguel's checked out.
Yep.
He'll be working that day.
Yep, definitely. Even if I'm not working.
24-hour shift.
No,
Could be on a cruise, man.
Cruise
I
time.
already booked my next trip last night. So
Where are you going?
Puerto Rico. Gotta go back to the homeland.
Yeah. Lights are turned back on at home soon, right?
Let's hope.
Jeez.
I know somebody that just left this evening and getting there now.
Jeez.
And they canceled their Airbnb because of the powder outage.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's wild. All right, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna do a mock draft. I guess we'll do 1 through 32. We won't do anything crazy. I want you to talk about the mock draft you did, Mark, about getting a certain player at number 9.
That was ridiculous.
You pulled it off.
It was ridiculous.
You pulled it off.
It worked.
And then we have a couple of crazy mock trades that you I think it was Yahoo has done, and another one I just saw while scrolling through. And that'll do it for us for our pre-draft podcast. We're a week away from the podcast from the draft. So follow us on all the social medias, on Instagram, YouTube. We are over on TikTok. I try to do stuff. Miguel posts stuff there, but mostly we just hit 15,000 on Instagram last week. So jump over there, give us more follows, and help us grow. All right, so Mark, what's your, I would say, going into the draft, guys that Eagles are going to be looking to get? Because I know they just had what's the guy, Sparks? They just did a top 30. Yeah, he just came in for a visit. Is that a possibility of him dropping to the Eagles?
Slight
drop.
You know what? It would be a Nolan Smith event.
Yeah.
It would be a Nakobe Dean event.
Yeah.
Where anyone who's following the draft, like I said, I had a lot of friends during those draft nights who were stunned that those players fell to us.
Yeah.
Because it made no sense.
Yeah.
But Malachi Stark could do the same thing. I mean, he's a dog, and it seems to happen with dogs. I don't know why. He shouldn't. But the need for safety isn't as high for most teams as it is for us.
Right.
Miami is one of the few other teams where, like, they just lost Devon Holland. They could be interested, but they have a lot of things they need.
Right.
So there's a few players here or there that could, climb or fall. I've been looking over this a few times, and like I said, I ran another one tonight. And actually, it's technically in the midst, so I don't know if it actually will let me look at what I've already drafted, which is a weird feature with this app. That I can only look at like the current pick and nothing else.
Right.
But in a few others I've done, because I've done, as Miguel mentioned earlier, with all the mock drafts happening, I've done my own fair share. I think I've probably created 15 to 20 already myself. He's fallen a few times. He's gone as early. I've seen one where he's gone as early as 7.
Yeah.
I've seen ones where he falls to the second round.
All right. So the crazy mock draft that you did, where the Eagles jump up to pick 9.
Number 9.
So you just break that down, and who do they select at number 9?
I'm going to first go through and let everyone know that this was a draft using an app, NFL Mock Draft Simulator.
Yep.
It's not perfect. Of course, none of them are. You can choose what teams you are. Like right now, I'm running one where I'm picking for all 32 teams based on actual needs and actual players. I think it's a much more accurate draft, minus my Miami draft, which they just happened to line up where nothing came to them. So they've made trade backs and made bank in pick, which they might. The simulator also only lets you do trades for picks. It does not allow you to do any players. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. If you hear this and listen, yes, it's crazy. I get it.
Yeah.
Randomized. You hit start, and the picks are made as it's estimated by the AI. Cam Ward goes first to Tennessee. A lot of people are saying that. I still think that's the worst decision the Tennessee Titans could make, but that's what happened. Travis Hunter 2 to the Browns. Will Johnson corner to the Giants. Shocked already. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Calvin Banks Tackled the Patriots. Got it. Cool. Makes sense. Mason Graham to the Jags. Makes sense. Tateria McMillan to the Raiders. I don't love it.
I thought the Genti would go there. But the running back from Boise.
Genti. Yeah. That's where I actually expect him to go. Like I said, when I do my picks, but this again, I let the AI do this one.
Okay.
They took McMillan. Either way, it's not bad. I mean, it still gives a receiver option to the no quarterback they have, but they'll move along from it. Will Campbell, actually a good pick for the Jets. I don't know if the Jets know what that is, so go with that. And then for some reason at 8, the Panthers select Shamar Stewart. Now, no hate on Shamar Stewart. He's a great edge rusher who's definitely going to go high in the draft. But for anyone who's been listening and paying attention to this, there's a crazy name still on the board in Abdul Carter. So when I saw this at 8 happening, because it was like the way the system works when I'm simulating it is it like picks a player and then it shows who's up next, like the team, and there's like a 2 to 3 second delay before the next pick is selected, so that you can make do a pause whenever you want to make a trade. Obviously, you can't make a trade in 3 seconds, so you pause it. You can do a trade. So I paused it on the Saints. I said, "Hey, Saints, I know you ain't gonna make a bad decision here. You're gonna make a trade with us." And I traded. It won't show me the full trade anymore, and I'm not sure why. A 3rd round this year, 2025 3rd round.
Yeah.
2025 5th round. 2026 1st round. 2026 3rd round, and 2026 4th round. Again, it only lets me offer picks.
Yeah.
And the Saints accepted that for their pick 9. And so I was like, look, we kept our 1st and 2nd this year. I'm cool with it.
Right.
And of course, snagged Abdul Carter. Because
that's insane. That's insane.
Which, keep in mind, though, I still kept our 32nd pick.
Yeah.
And so I pulled Nick Emanawari, the 2nd best safety in the draft.
Wow.
I was like,
that's a great draft. That's a great first round.
Draft,
That's a psycho round. So, all right. So here, that's a crazy trade to happen.
That's never going to happen.
Never going to happen. But Miguel, I want you are now the New York Giants, because apparently they've rang the phone and asked about Dallas Goedert. The trade that's been I've seen offered.
Okay.
It's Dallas Goedert,
the
96th pick, and a 5th rounder from 2026 for a 105th pick and defensive end Kayvon Thibodeau. That's a mock trade.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You take that?
I'll take that.
Why is this coming out? Like, who said, all right, this is it. This is done by the Philly Sports Network. Anthony.
Okay, it's someone trying to just finesse. Yeah, it's of course.
Okay.
That's insane.
Yeah. But the next crazy mock trade, this is from Yahoo.
Okay.
It's Miami Dolphins offer the Eagles the 13th overall pick.
Okay.
A 2026 2nd round pick.
Okay.
Jalen Ramsey for the 32nd pick this year, and Devontae Smith.
Hell
no. That one. Nope.
Nope.
Is that considered the worst mock trade probably ever?
Yes.
Right?
That's almost as bad as my one Madden trade where I traded Sauce Gardner for Slay straight up.
It was accepted?
It was accepted.
Wow.
Thing is, though, the Jets might make that bad of a trade. We want veterans.
Now, Howie has said he's in the mood. He's the kind of guy where he's going to be aggressive. How aggressive is he going to be, Miguel? Do you think there's going to be aggression in his trading up from 32, or is he going to trade back?
I mean, I've seen. I believe if there's a player, because from what I've heard from WIP, is like every every draft in the last, I think they said 5 years, whatever the top 30 visits they've had to the Eagles facility, they've always drafted one of those players. And I think there was a linebacker from Alabama. I can't think of his name right now. That they were Mark probably would know it. That they just recently bought in. So they were thinking that maybe they'll jump up to grab him if he's on the board. Everything that I've seen or heard so far, well, I've seen the Eagles draft a safety at 32. I've seen the Eagles draft a linebacker at 32. I've seen the Eagles jump up to 20 and grab, I think it was a linebacker. So, I mean, everything's all over the place. You know, everybody right now is an expert.
Of course.
I think Howie's going to do something like I said at the end of the last week's podcast. I mean, we got 20 picks between this season and next season, right? There's no way we draft 20 players, and not even 20 players are going to make the team. So Howie's going to flip that into jumping up somewhere, whether it be this year or next year maybe. But he's going to do something. Something big is coming.
You feel it?
I wish I could see the one I worked on tonight so far. Because in my one I did tonight, I ended up in a weird spot with the Rams as well. And they traded back with us for a reasonable trade. First for first swap, I think we threw in a fifth this year and a fifth next year because not a lot of competition because they're only a few picks before us. I think they're like 26, 28, something like that. Wasn't much. But we jumped up and we grabbed Starks because he was available. And I was like, I feel like if he's available that late and the trade offer was that low, I don't think it would be that low, but I mean, like, reasonably, we're not going far and we're giving you compensation. Not enough in reality. They probably want something a little more than 2/5, but that's what I saw trade wise. And you're talking, we got about, you know, trade up, trade out. I will say personally, it'd be cool to see him trade up, do something fun.
Yeah.
But we made a lot of big splashes and won the Super Bowl. So
well, there is an option where he waits to 32, see who's available, and does trade out. And so that kind of helps later on with like contract wise, because you don't have to pay this guy, you know, first round draft money too. So that could be a strategic way to get around having to put out more money than they have to. Would we love to have another Georgia Bulldog in the backfield and the defense? I think that'd be awesome. Like that would be awesome to have another guy. Like they already added the guy from the Giants this year. And so it's just like this whole Georgia defense, you might as well just keep rolling the dice on it.
Plus, I think the other thing we have going for us, which is really nice, is that the first round is the only round where the rookie contracts come with a 5th-year option.
Right.
Anything after that, the rookie contract for 2nd to 7th is 4 years flat. Some teams might be willing to trade up an early second for that 32nd just to have that extra.
Right.
And so that 32nd holds a little more value towards an early second than it does, you know, some of the earlier picks because you're still paying a lot less money. The 32nd draft pick makes a boatload less than the 15th to the 20th.
Right.
But you still have 5th-year option.
Exactly.
So
I haven't heard anything. For some reason, I'm not as dialed into this draft as previous years because you kind of like still living off the highlights of the Super Bowl still. Like I still like watch those before I go to bed.
You know why else you're not dialed in?
What's that?
There's not a lot to go for it. All the talk is kind of like it feels fabricated. Like Cam Ward, good season, but let me say it again. Good season. Not stellar, not exceptional, not absolutely. It was a good season. Shedeur Sanders, had a pretty good season. He played mediocre talent. Cam Ward didn't play the greatest talent.
Yeah, I think I'd like to talk about after this segment here about what Shedeur Sanders where's his value, because he believes it's a lot. I think a lot higher than what people are saying because he's not even going to be at the draft.
I don't know. His stock seems to be dropping lately. Like
Yeah.
I just saw on I'm watching the NFL Network, and they're showing all the mocks, and there's one that has him drop all the way down to 26.
And who's at
taken by the
26?
Saints.
The Saints. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how that's happening. Before we start talking about those cases, is there any more like we could talk about what the Eagles can do? Like, I know that we want safeties, but is there anything that they could go and do that would be crazy, like on offense? Is there anything they would be? Would they be picking anybody on offense? Like, it's all defense on this draft? Would you say?
Kind of all we need.
Not first round. They'll do it in the later rounds. So go offense, bring in some backup linemen, tight end.
The only chance we go early offense would be if something unreal, like a higher level O lineman fell.
Right.
Here's a scenario. What if Shador Sanders falls all the way down to 32? Does Howie take him? Quarterback factory.
Pissed. I will be.
It's not me saying it. You're saying it.
I'll be so mad.
I'm just saying,
I will throw a beer can at it.
Hey, listen, sometimes we got to say crazy things to get some clicks here, because I mean, look at the trades that you were talking about earlier. Like, come on, man. Like, none of those make sense.
Right. It doesn't make any sense, but yeah.
No.
I'd be so angry. I would be so angry if he came here. And again, I should clarify. No real hate to Shador. Okay. I understand a tiny bit of animosity due to your father, the name you carry. It's a weight on your shoulders. I get it. My biggest thing is, coming out of high school, yeah, you were a highly talented, rated player. You had a lot of options. You chose Florida Atlantic, and then you chose to change that. And that was Willie Taggart, which I have animosity against for the way he treated Oregon. Then you go ahead and you go to play for your dad at Jackson State. And it looks great. You're all over the highlight reels because Travis Hunter and a few other really good players came with you, and you're playing 1- and 2-star JUCO players, if that, and bombing on them. Of course you are. They're not meant to play players of your caliber. But then when you come up to the bigger leagues, anytime you play a top 20, I think he went 1-7 against top 25 teams in his career. That's not great. And you could argue, all right, well, Colorado didn't have top-end talent around him. Cool, but if he goes to a team like the Browns, he's not going to have top-end talent around him.
No.
I want to say, I think a year, if life goes well for Shador, he's going to a team that has a QB that he can sit for a year or two, chill, Dallas,
that's right,
and develop.
Yeah, Dallas
However,
is where he should go.
He won't. He's going to go somewhere like Cleveland. They're going to throw him in the mix. It's going to be talks, and it's just not going to go well, and it's going to hurt his career. And that's just how I think that's going to go.
Now, okay, let's talk about that. How do you feel about him and Travis Hunter getting their numbers retired by Colorado?
Sounds like something that Deion Sanders would do about his son and his favorite player.
That's a little insane. Like Cordell Stewart doesn't have it. His number retired. Like at least he won 2 or 3 bowl games.
He's not Deion Sanders' son or Deion Sanders' favorite player.
What about Eric Bieniemy? He has have his entire number there.
Well, I mean, they keep talking about Travis Hunter like he's Shohei Ohtani, like he's done something already.
And again, it's the hype that came with him. He was the number 1 overall talent out of high school. That doesn't always translate. But then he, again, played, low-end talent, whooped on him on 2 sides of the ball.
Yeah.
He didn't happen the same against the top-level players. In the NFL, he's not playing 2 ways. He's playing one, maybe on a couple gadget plays. Maybe he'll flop. I think he's probably going to play receiver. And I think he'll flop in at corner.
I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought he was going to be corner because his route trees as a receiver are very slow.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he could be a corner, and the other way around. Yeah, he could be a corner, and then gadget plays for receiver.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, either way, I think they're gonna pick one or the other with him. It's not like he's gonna continuously play both. And until we see what he can truly do against top end talent. I still think I expect him to go higher than Shedeur. I truly do. I expect him to go top 5.
He's supposed to go to like what? New England? Is that where they're saying he's going to go?
Yeah, and that's where I had him going tonight too.
Yeah,
I thought New England.
Shedeur to New England?
Yeah,
no,
Travis Hunter.
Oh,
Because it gives him. I think is if he was to be corner heavy, less likely to go to New England because they already have Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah,
and they need a receiver.
Yeah,
I feel like the Giants are gonna the Giants are gonna take him.
I had the Giants take tonight. I think I had them take Mason Graham.
I don't think that if they take him, he's not going to be able to cover Devontae Smith or AJ Brown.
All right, hold on. Right? Who can name any corner who can cover those two?
No, not many. Well, let's see.
AJ Brown's always open.
AJ Brown is always
outruns.
AJ had a hard time against. Didn't Lattimore shut him down in that second game in Washington after the Saints trade him to Washington?
Maybe.
Lattimore.
Yeah, but then that was a Kenny Pickett game too, so he really can't.
Not true.
Can't say that was it, but
as I say that the Browns GM calls Travis Hunter a unicorn.
Yeah, see, he might.
Otani, yep. See?
He's going to end up going to Cleveland. He'll end up going to
Cleveland. If they take him, that's done. They should just grab Abdul Carter and just have a sick defensive line.
That'd be great. That'd be cool. The Browns have 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks in their locker room right now.
They sure do.
And
Pickett.
Right, and Kenny Pickett and Joe Falco. He's back.
And yet I have them drafting Cam Ward.
And you've what?
I have them drafting Cam Ward.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't think if
there's anyone taking a quarterback where they shouldn't.
Yeah, like the Browns. The Browns are so quarterback
desperate.
Like death. Like they're death of quarterbacks. They shouldn't draft a quarterback at all. They just go with they got so much money in Deshaun Watson. They got Kenny Pickett, Mark's favorite quarterback, and they got Joe Falco. Like they're good. They don't need to draft a quarterback. They really don't.
All right. Well, all right. I'm gonna go back and forth with the two of you for fun. Let's do this for you. Miguel.
Yep.
Draft day.
Mm-hmm.
You're the GM of the Titans.
Mm.
Your biggest needs in the draft is your D-line, edge, quarterback, receiver, and linebacker.
Mm.
Of course, the top players available, according to the world of sports, Cameron Ward at quarterback, Travis Hunter at corner or receiver, Abdul Carter at edge. Why does this keep closing on me? Sorry, my thing closed on it for some reason. Mason Graham D-line.
I'm going Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
See, I like the way you think.
Yeah, that's right
choice. Where I think he goes. Mike, it's your turn. Cleveland's on the board.
Yeah, Mike fits Mike perfectly.
All right. So, hold on, let me see real quick. See if it'll let me. Yeah, that one there. That one there. Cool. Quarterback is considered Cleveland's biggest need and then followed quickly as O-line and then edge, running back, and receiver.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, I would take the Boise State running back.
Ashton Jeffries.
Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah, that's what his name.
You're taking him second for the Browns.
Yes. That's
I'm letting you control this, so that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go on record and say you're absolutely out of your mind.
Because I know
as good as he was at Boise, he's not going top 5 in the NFL draft.
No, because I'm thinking they don't need a quarterback. They got Kenny and they got Deshaun Watson and they got Falco. They don't need to kill another quarterback.
All right, we'll go in turn. Just to make it a little easier on everybody, I'll take my turn now. I'm doing the Giants.
There you go.
Interesting.
Painful as it is, I know. With the Giants, I personally, I'm going to try to nice the Giants here. I want to say the Giants are smart enough to say we're going to rock a gear with Winston.
Yeah.
Because next year's draft class was to be better at quarterback, or take a later quarterback down the road. That's not as money wise.
It's tank for Archie.
Archie's not coming out next year. There's no way he's doing one season. That's baloney. That man's so in 2 years he's gonna be good. We'll see.
Double tank for Archie.
All right. So at this point, from my personal feelings, I feel like they've learned their lesson, which I know is a stupid thing to think about the Giants, but I'm going to say they learned their lesson, and they're going to look at rocking up that O-line. Now, a lot of people will say Will Campbell. He's the bigger, more correct tackle to go first. However, right behind him is Armand Membo out of Missouri, who is considered the better. He has better ability. He's a little smaller, but he's a more skillful tackle that could also play guard if they need him to. I think they take Armand Membo and actually solidify their O-line because they're learning from their rivals down the road that the trenches win games.
Yeah, good point.
All right, so now he's off the board. New England, Miguel, you're up.
Oh, boy.
New England Patriots need offensive line. They need defensive line. They need a wide receiver. They need a running back, and they need a tight end. We'll keep it simple for you. O-line, D-line, okay? Top options. Mason Graham is the top D lineman. He's the 4th overall player in the draft. Mm-hmm. The 5th overall player is an offensive tackle. Where do you feel like you're going if you were Patriots?
If I'm the Patriots GM, I'm going because I've already – no, wait. Then he went to San Diego. I'm going D-line. I'm going to go Graham.
Mason Graham? I like it. Oh, I feel like I should have swapped this around for you guys because now the Jaguars are on the clock.
Oh,
Miguel.
Oh.
Should I just give it back to Miguel? Make you wait?
Throw it back at Miguel. That's his
Throw it back to Miguel.
It's only honorable to have him draft his Jags.
Biggest needs are D-line and cornerback, and on the board is the number 2 ranked corner, or the number 1 ranked corner, number 2 ranked player, Travis Hunter. Just saying, he's still on the board. You all are in desperate need of D-linemen and O-linemen. But O-line Will Campbell's still on the board, and Jalen Walker, edge out of Georgia, is still on the board. Where do you feel you're going there with your Jags, Miguel?
That's a good one. I'm going to stay away from Travis Hunter, and I'm going to go O-line and just protect my quarterback.
There you go.
I think Miguel's got more sense than any other, like, for a guy who doesn't like college, or doesn't like, no college football, doesn't do drafts and all that. I think he's got more sense than most GMs on the board right now.
Yeah. Right.
All right, so now we'll go to Mike here for Vegas, where I think Gigi's going to go, but Gigi's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
But you know what they don't have?
A quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback. You know who's still on the board?
Shedeur Sanders.
Well, they do. I'm sorry, they do have Geno Smith. So if you trust him, well, so is Cam Ward. We haven't taken Cam Ward. No one's taken a quarterback yet.
Oh, he didn't go yet, Cam Ward.
No.
Oh, so that's where he goes.
But you also have, but at this point, so their biggest needs, because they have Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Is running back, who's missing because there's no good running back left in the draft. Wide receiver, where Chataria McMillan is out of Arizona. And then cornerback, which you'd be looking at Will Johnson out of Michigan.
Or do they take Travis Hunter?
They could take Travis Hunter because he could fill their role as well as corner. Yeah. You're right.
I'm going to go Travis Hunter here.
Makes sense. Put him in the black and silver. I like it.
Yeah, he'll love that.
Oh, yeah. All right. Now you're making me take for both New York teams now, boys.
Now you're the Jets.
I'm the Jets. All right. Well, they need offensive line, receiver, tight end, safety, D-line. They need a lot. I don't think they're taking Tyler Warren. I don't think tight end is high enough for them. I think, again, I know the Jets don't do this. For anyone listening, Jets, Giants, New York teams, they don't think, but I'm going to think for them. Okay? Same thought process.
I'm going to think for them.
We need O-line. It's what you need to win football games. So, top player still on the board in the O-line, we're looking at Kelvin Banks out of Texas, who actually should be a very good offensive lineman. Solidifies them in a spot they'll never be solidified in. Miguel.
Yo.
Carolina Panthers looked garbage to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up a little better than we expected. And are somehow picking 8. Hey, they're picking 8. I really thought they were dead last also. I'm like, yo, they're tanking early and hard. And they didn't. They made it up. Yeah. So they're here. Now they have a young quarterback that they now believe in. So they don't need quarterback. They need an edge rusher. There's a good one on the board. They need a safety. There's not a good one this high up on the board. Corner, also high up on the board. Receiver. So your best real choice for them, Jalen Walker out of Georgia, top-rated edge rusher left after Abdul Carter's off the board. Receiver, Jataria McMillan out of Arizona. And it's kind of the only guys that are up there that are worth them drafting. I mean, Michael Williams, also edge out of Georgia, a little farther down. But if you're choosing between the two edges, you'll probably take the better one out of Georgia. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
But tough draft.
That is, I mean, I need to get my quarterback a weapon. Like, he improved last season. We got rid of the weapon that we traded. I don't forget what his name is, but no, we traded one of our receivers. So I need to get him somebody young.
I like it.
So I'm gonna
back years with a good receiver because they I can't remember the name of the guy they drafted last year.
Leggett.
Yeah, Leggett. Yeah, Xavier Leggett. Gonna have a pair for him.
Yep.
And Terry McMillan. I don't hate it. Okay, I don't hate that. So McMillan on his way to Carolina, Mike. That puts you in New Orleans.
Oh, here we go. That's where there's
Abdul Carter trade.
And that is where they're saying Shedeur Sanders is going to fall to number 9.
You're right, but if Cam Ward is still available, do you take Shedeur?
Right, because I would say Cam Ward is probably the more polished quarterback, and Kellen Moore wants a nice polished quarterback. So yeah, my quarterback is going to be is Cam Ward right here.
I like it. Chicago chilling here for me.
Yeah, who does Chicago like? What do they need? They just built their whole offensive line, rebuilt their whole offensive line.
So according to the NFL Network, their still biggest need is the O-line.
Yep.
Wow.
I agree.
However, we've been kind of picking this board pretty clean of O-line. The next top O-lineman is Josh Simmons, who's ranked 23rd out of Ohio State. We're on pick 10.
Do they trade out of this they spot?
Also need D-line.
Okay.
You know what's funny? I'm looking at Mark Ross mock draft at number 9, which is the Saints pick, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They got Jackson Dart from Mississippi.
So they went with a quarterback.
Another quarterback.
I don't hate it. I will say, I'd like to say right now, while they're not showing up high here, don't be shocked if Jalen Milroe out of Alabama or Jackson Dart makes it into the first round because for some reason, quarterback stock always rises right before the draft, and teams get a little quarterback crazy.
It
always happens. It always happens. I don't know why. I'm going to think again for the Bears. I for some reason only get teams that don't have brains, but I got the brains. I got the Bears here. Even though their biggest need is O-line, they're not going to pass on a Jalen Walker that's still sitting there at 10 for D-line. Yeah. He's a top edge rusher, even if their edge is pretty good. They had some really good pass rushers last year. You don't pass on this at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, everyone did the past 2 years, and I was the moron because I was wrong, and Nolan Smith isn't going to be drafted as high as everyone thinks he is. Oh, no, he fell to 30. Whatever, I'll take him. Yeah. You guys lost out. That's your fault, not mine. Don't hate on me. That's how it goes. Crazy is that here we are at 11 with Miguel. And what team do we have up here? The Western Red Cowboys, San Fran 49ers, who were oh so good and unbeatable 2 years ago. Get out of my league, boy.
Yeah.
They might need a quarterback here.
They believe in Purdy, okay? He's pretty good for them. Their biggest need is D-line, edge, and O-line. And then it's saying running back because, he's getting a little old and injured. And then, of course, corner. But D-line and edge, they want someone out there to help Nick Bosa. and I believe they're trying to find someone that's probably going to replace Trent Williams in the near future at tackle.
Yeah.
So that's kind of your biggest two things.
And they got to replace Hargrave, right? Because they lost Hargrave too.
Weird how he wasn't as good when he left the Eagles.
Hey.
It's going to happen in New England too.
I think they go D-line. I think they draft a D tackle there.
Okay, so the only thing is there isn't really a D tackle. There's edge rushers available. A boatload of them are coming into their own right here. There's no interior D linemen available that are worth this to mid to late first round picks. I don't think they're going to reach that far. But if you want me to, I'll make that pick. It's your call.
Right, go ahead. It's fine.
Do it.
Well, all right. So for edge, and this is where my draft came weird. Michael Williams, Georgia, is on the board. Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, are on the board. Mike Green, Marshall on the board. They're all one after another.
Stewart,
I like it. I think Stewart's actually a great pick. I think Michael Williams needs a little bit of development, but I think he'll be just fine. Hey, Mike, you get the best pick of the draft tonight. Give the Cowboys.
Oh, wow.
And we go into commercial break.
Well, then this kind of works out right here, doesn't it?
It does. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, it's not. I'll say first and foremost, it would never happen, but I like it.
But it could very well happen where they draft Shadur Sanders right here.
Was that what you would like me to do?
On the board?
Yeah, he's still there.
He took Cam Ward and
for the Saints, and so Shadur Sanders goes to the Cowboys.
I would love it. Oh,
it just sets up. It just sets up for Deion to coming out of college to coach him.
How long after they draft him does Dak Prescott ask for a trade?
Probably the next day.
You think so?
I think Dak would wait probably midway, probably halfway through next season or so when things are going bad, and then Jerry fires the coach and hires Deion. The moment there's talks with Deion, he's out.
Yeah.
So
there's been trade talks about Dak Prescott being traded to the Browns and to who's the other team? I know there's another team. So there has been mock trades where
the Raiders.
The Raiders, that's what it was.
I hope that they don't do that unless they pull in Shadur. I want there to be mediocrity at Dallas forever. I don't want them to because I don't want them to get too bad because then they're going to get a top pick. I don't want them to have a star because that's a problem. I definitely don't want Manning either. I don't care that we haven't seen him yet. I don't want him to be a Cowboy.
Yeah.
So I'm on the board now with Miami, and this is the issue I ran into earlier when I was running this draft. Miami's obvious biggest needs for anyone who's ever watched a football game in Miami is the O-line.
Yep.
Because Tua's running for his life. As I just mentioned to Miguel with that last pick, there's no O-lineman or D-lineman. They're interior D. This is the biggest needs they have is interior O and D-line. None of them are considered top talent players.
Oh, man. That's
for a while. So this is where I had the Dolphins trade back.
I was going to say
trade out for a couple picks, but they only traded back to I want to say 23 or something, and then they traded back out of the first. But they just reaped in the picks in this other one I did. I'm going to keep it pick friendly here. We're just going to make picks. At this point, they're going to have to go with just one of the best players. They do need corner help and they need safety help. They're going to take Will Johnson out of Michigan because they just need something of substance to. 3 years ago, I think they had the best secondary in the league, and now it's just who do they have, And for this next pick, I'm going to send it back to Mike instead of Miguel because now it's Mike's Colts.
My Colts, nice.
Their Colts, and their number one need is tight end.
Tight end. So
and the number one player on the board.
Is that the tight end from Penn State? Yeah, so I think that's where he goes there.
Heartbroken a little bit because that man is so good.
So good. Yeah, Eagles. I don't know if the Eagles are going to trade up to take a tight end. They're just going to. They're going to.
There's too many. I will be honest. There's too many good tight ends in this draft.
Yeah.
And as much as it's weird, I said in the last podcast we had, I'm not a Penn State fan. I'm really not. But Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren are next level talents. They're amazing. Tyler Warren to the Colts, Now we'll push it to Miguel. Miguel, you get to be the Atlanta Falcons. Their top need is edge. And wouldn't you know it, you got 2 top picks in Michael Williams and Mike Green side by side. Michael Williams being Georgia, Mike Green being Marshall.
Now I'm going to go the first one.
Yeah, I think Michael Williams is probably – I think Mike Green is one of those where he's pretty well developed. Michael Williams, I think, is probably more project, but I think he's got a higher ceiling. And I think he's, I think Mike Green probably has a lower floor, but I think Michael Williams got a way higher ceiling. So I agree with you there. I now have Arizona on my bench here. Their top needs are O-line, wide receiver, and edge. Because one of their top needs is actually on the board, they're going to steal Mike Green right here.
There you go.
And complete that one. We'll move right on to Cincinnati, and I'll pull it back in the circle we were in. So it's back to Miguel with Cincinnati. Cincinnati had the worst defense in the history of man.
Mm-hmm.
Any defensive position you could possibly want is needed. Lucky you, the top players on the board: cornerback, linebacker, safety, receiver, tight end. Whatever position you want, I'll find it for you right now.
They still need offensive line, though? Don't they got to protect Joe Burrow here?
I think Joe Burrow has said, I don't care. Just someone stop the opposing teams. I'll put up the points no matter what. Clearly.
Yeah. Well, then let's go linebacker.
Linebacker Shahad Campbell. I like it. That's the one out of Alabama you were out talking about earlier.
Okay.
Mike, Seattle, who just got rid of Geno Smith, but they picked up Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
I believe they also signed
Drew Lock too. They did sign Cooper Kupp
and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. So right now, their biggest needs, crazy, this is becoming a trend, is to protect the quarterback with an O-line or give him a weapon, because the only things he has is Jackson Smith-Njigba and Cooper Kupp.
That's true. Now, they traded DK Metcalf.
That could actually work out in their favor if they just protect Sam Darnold. So,
right.
Weirdly, though, I guess we are getting to the point in the draft. You're pick 18. The top O lineman, Josh Simmons, is ranked 23rd. It's not nearly as bad a stretch as when originally I was looking at it at like 10.
Right.
So
what's the top receiver that's
Matthew Golden out of Texas. He's the 20th ranked.
Yeah, see, I think Seattle's going to have to trade out of this pick.
Okay.
Because the need is receiver, but if it's not a top 18 receiver, why waste and try to trade back a little bit?
Yeah, right now your top
who are the next 2 teams after Seattle?
Tampa and Denver.
Tampa doesn't need a receiver.
Nope.
And
Denver could use one, but their bigger need is running back, and there's a running back on the board.
Yeah,
around where Denver doesn't need a receiver either.
Yeah, so let's see. They do. Let's see if we could trade back with Denver.
Well, it's not gonna only be picks, so we're just gonna. I think we'll make it easy. Just do a pick and
do a pick. Then just pick a wide receiver.
All right, they will take Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is on the board. Now, this is where I was going to put Campbell, because their biggest need is linebacker. Yeah. And after Campbell, there are no linebackers on the board. Pretty much at all.
Is he the guy from Michigan? And Will Campbell, is he from Michigan?
No, he was from Alabama. And Miguel drafted him a couple picks ago. So their next biggest need is corner, though. So Johnny Barron out of Texas, straight to Tampa Bay. Make it quick and easy for you. Denver Broncos on the board. Miguel, you're up. Their biggest need, running back Omarion Hampton, is sitting there very pretty as the third-ranked player on the board. There's a few others they could use, but nothing is more pressing than that.
Let's go running back then.
I like it. Does give you an A+ on the grade if that makes you feel better.
All right.
Mike, you're back on the board, and you're here for our lovely cross-state rivals, Pittsburgh, who, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they have a quarterback yet.
They don't have a quarterback.
Nope. I've seen a lot of people saying that they're going to pick Jackson Dart.
Yeah, I was going to say, now this is probably where he goes.
Yeah, so here's your thing. Obviously, the way this system is set up, I can grab any player. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any quarterbacks here till like 40.
Wow.
But that's their ratings.
Right, yeah.
I don't care about their ratings. The biggest needs for Pittsburgh is the quarterback Also running back and D-line. There is no running back up here. There is D-line. Kenneth Grant out of Michigan's a little tiny reach. He's only about 5'6" picks away. He's run out of reach. He'd be considered a solid pick. But I'm completely under the understanding of going quarterback here. I think Pittsburgh should.
Before I say anything, there's also been a lot of talks about TJ Watt. TJ Watt is
getting paid, right?
What's a contract, and they're saying the Eagles are tied to the possibility of him being traded to the Eagles.
But I think that was DN or D lineman.
But the only thing is that he's 30 and he wants a contract extension.
He does.
He wants money.
He wants a lot of money. Is that something the Eagles are interested in dealing with? You say no, Miguel. You say no. Okay.
I'm sorry. Did we not just get rid of Bradley and Slay?
Yeah.
And Graham retired.
Yeah.
So now our oldest player on defense is Zach Vaughn.
Yeah.
Who's not 28 yet.
Yeah.
We're not signing some 30-year-old. I don't care how good he is.
He
got the future.
Then I say, as the GM of the Steelers, I'm going to draft an edge rusher here.
Okay.
Because I don't think I'm going to be able to
Let
sign
me
TJ
point
Watt.
something out for you real quick. Okay, one, you got a bit of a reach for edge rushers.
Yeah.
2, Pittsburgh only has 2 picks in this draft.
Oh.
Just want to make sure you're aware of this as their GM. If you want to go edge, I can get you an edge. James Pierce Jr., best ranked edge. He's out of Tennessee. He is considered an end of round pick, but I mean, we are pick 21, so it's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, the last edge rusher that comes out of Tennessee was Derek Barnett.
Oh, they might have more picks. I might have this only set for 3 rounds. That might be my fault.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, let's go with that edge. Let's go with the edge rusher from Tennessee.
Okay.
Just in case TJ Watt requests a trade and they have to trade him.
I don't hate it. Yeah, it's definitely my fault for having the round. So anyone listening, I'm an idiot. Let that be known. Okay. Now, here I am sitting here drafting for Los Angeles Chargers. Their coach used to coach a little place called the University of Michigan. The Chargers consider biggest need is tight end. And the top-rated player in the draft happens to be Colson Loveland, tight end out of Michigan.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of mock drafts, and it's weird how this almost always happens. I'm going to join the party and just send Colson Loveland to go back and play with his coach.
Yeah.
Give Herbert another weapon.
Awesome.
My guy.
What up?
You, Miguel, get to control Green Bay.
Green Bay
wants
Aaron Rodgers. Oh, he's on the board.
They want a corner. They want a wide receiver. They want an edge or D lineman or an O lineman. We are at a point now where the top players, Josh Simmons, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. Jackson Dart is on here, not that they need one. Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. Derek Harmon, D lineman out of Oregon. And there's no corners or receivers left up here, so your best bet's probably O or D line.
I'm going to protect Jordan Love. He took a lot of hits last season. I'm going to go old line.
All right, Josh Simmons is off the board. All right, Mike, you're there with Minnesota. All right, Minnesota thinks they need some secondary assistance or some O-line help.
I would probably say O-line help only because they got to protect J.J. McCarthy, who's going to be their quarterback this year after losing Sam Darnold. So let's protect him.
Yeah.
He's going to probably need it.
Now, I will say, just because this one actually have the stats for this one, Minnesota does only have 4 picks in this draft. So they don't have – there's not much in the way of options for them at this point that's like a good spot. They do have a couple O-line. Gray Zabel. He's a higher-rated interior O-lineman. He's out of North Dakota State.
Ooh.
I personally am hesitant on D2 players.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Carson Wentz, I know we have a living memory of that phenomenal season he had, and then he fell off a cliff. The other option, 2 spots further down the list, is a Alabama player and Tyler Booker. So,
let's do the Alabama offensive lineman.
I like it.
I don't trust the D2 guys.
All right. Houston Texans. somehow made the playoffs, pick 25. Their defense and their offense both ranked miserably. Well, their offense wasn't good this year, but their O-line was pretty bad. Their D-line was pretty bad. Hence their biggest needs. However, with your grab, the only lineman option is Gray Zabel. There are better D-line options. I think at this point, I think it makes sense for them to go with Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant out of Michigan is officially D-lineman for the Houston Texans. Miguel, you're going to run the Rams clock right now. They are in a weird spot. They need linebacker, cornerback, tight end, wide receiver, O-line. Their biggest need is considered off-ball linebacker. So you can get away with an edge player here, but the only, I guess, Donovan Ezeriku from Boston College is an edge. You could maybe do something like that. But other than that, there's pretty much no one in around 10 picks that fit any of the Rams' needs. In real life, I expect to trade, but we'll let Miguel take whoever he wants right here. Who is their backup quarterback?
I have no idea.
Senate. What's his name? The guy from Georgia.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I forgot about they drafted him last year. I was saying because after Stafford, who did they have? You're right. Okay. Yeah, this one's a hard one.
I go linebacker. Fuck it.
From Boston College?
Yeah, I'll give him the edge linebacker out of Boston College. It's pretty much the best pick I could figure out for him. All right. Mike, Baltimore. We're getting towards the end here, boys.
All right, here we go.
Baltimore really feels that they need.
Yeah, what do they need?
All right, so according to the NFL Network, their biggest needs are offensive line, cornerback, safety, D-line, and edge. This is where you start to see people that could take Starks really badly. All right. Yeah. He's not as important as some of the other positions, but he is higher rated on the board than some other positions, being that he is the number one player left on the draft board.
I was going to say, is he best available right now?
He is best available right now.
Yeah. See, this is probably where he goes.
I think this is probably where he goes as well.
Yeah. So, let's take
Painful.
Let's take him here.
I get to run Detroit. Yay, me.
They just need doctors.
You're not wrong. So Detroit's coming up saying they need edge, I guess, as opposite lineup than Aiden Hutchinson, because they clearly don't need to replace Aiden Hutchinson. Because they do have Marcus Davenport, but he's getting older, and they need someone that's going to put in a good season. They also need O-line and some secondary and defensive help. I think I'm going to have to go interior O-line because that's kind of like what's rated, kind of the best available. So they're going to get that Gray Zabel guy out of North Dakota State. I feel like if anyone's going to take a risk on him, it'd be the coach there in Detroit, right?
Sure, yeah.
I feel like he's gruff enough.
I'd say so.
All right, Miguel. Miguel's going to end up with the best pick of the draft.
Let's go.
Miguel, right here, one of the harder picks for you, Commanders.
Oh.
They need a few things. Edge, corner, receiver, safety, O-line. Top of the draft, they do have a safety up there, and Nick Amawori. Jackson Dart, quarterback, they don't need that. Couple D linemen. They do have a wide receiver, and Mika Egbuka out of Ohio State. Kind of surprised. I didn't realize he fell so far down the board. They also have Luther Burden, wide receiver out of Missouri. He, I think, was the fastest at the draft. He ran a 4.29, I believe it was. I might be getting him mixed up with Golden, though. I can't remember. Yeah, I might get that one mixed up.
Yeah.
And then one of the top corners left in Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky. So those are kind of your top needs of what you have. There are D linemen and Derek Harmon and Walter Nolan, but they specifically are stating they need edge because they did lose Dante Fowler Jr. last year after the season.
Just for the simple fact that as we're talking about this, Maxwell Hairston is on the NFL Network, so I'm going to go there.
I like it. I'll give you props for that one.
Perfect.
Mike, you get to be the wonderful CEO of the Buffalo Bills.
Oh.
How would you like to have some tush push next season? No. Their biggest need, shock of shock, is cornerback. Not as on the board, but their number 2 need is interior D line. And you're sitting here really pretty with some D line options.
Who we got?
Derek Harmon is the number 1 spot out of Oregon. Walter Nolan, 1 spot lower. Walter Nolan out of Mississippi. And then that guy's an offensive tackle.
Do we play Buffalo this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mike, I think you need to draft a big guy out of Florida.
Yeah, the guy from Florida. Take that guy.
In the first round. I mean, it's like a 7th round projection. You want me to put him in the first round.
Throw everything off, Mark. That's what we're doing. No. The guy from Oregon, throw that guy in there. He's a big dude.
That's going to hurt a lot, by the way. Yay, I get to draft for Kansas City.
Oh.
Draft him a quarterback. Their biggest needs are D-line, so they're getting Walter Nolan. And so that leaves the pick 32.
Miguel gets this pick.
Miguel's on the board.
EAGLES Eagles.
There's a few good options for him here. If he wants to go safety, which according to this is our biggest need.
Yeah.
Nick Ebenwari is top player on the board available. If he wants to go D-line, there is a couple edge players here. Nick Scourton. If he wants to go O-line, if he wants to really solidify the trenches, top player available is Josh Connerly. Or if he wants to go cornerback, Siobhan Revel Jr., one of the top-ranked corners, did tear his ACL in September. He is almost fully recovered, runs about 21 miles an hour now. Did start the season with 2 picks in 3 games, but he is coming off an ACL tear. So, where do you feel, Miguel? What do you think we need most?
All right.
You are Howie. What are you doing?
If I'm Howie, I've learned my lesson in the past and staying away from injured players come out of college.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go safety.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go safety here. And plus, because I've been seeing that kid's name a lot lately. Like he's gone from, I seen him 16th pick in the draft to 32nd pick in the draft. Like he's fluctuated everywhere. So
yeah. There's some good safeties here. Some good. I will say that corner. Watching some of his tape, I know he was at ECU, and I tend to pick on players from lower levels because like they don't always translate.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, if he plays anything like he did prior to injury, that's gonna be. But it's such a risk. You're right. It's such a risk. And I do like our corners. I don't think it's as neat as people think it is. I think safety is. I think you made the right call going safety.
Yeah.
I meant to set this for 1 round. That's why it was confusing me. I ended up sending it for like.
I don't think we have time to go 3 rounds.
I'm not going to any more rounds. I was skipping it real quick just so I could see the whole thing. I want to see what
I think it's safe to say the Eagles, if they stay at 32 or they move up from 32, they're probably going to be taking a safety.
Most likely.
There's
a couple available.
Or are they saying though that they don't trust Sidney Brown? Is that why? Because Sidney Brown
a corner that we converted to safety, and he, like Miguel pointed out, tore his ACL in his final year of college.
He did. Yeah, and last year he did it last year. He tore his ACL the year before last.
Do it again. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the other knee.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so.
So I think
so
they're
painful.
that's what we're talking about here. Like that's the thing though. Like they like Sidney Brown, but I think they're going to have to take a safety no matter what.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's one of those 2 guys, the guy that Miguel just picked, or the guy from Georgia.
Yeah, Malachi Starks.
Yeah,
but that's
I mean, they could go they could reach for that linebacker from Alabama and add to that linebacking room because I mean that's what I've heard that
they are thin there. They are thin.
Yeah, that would keep not Stoutland. What's the defensive coordinator? I forget his name.
Fangio.
Fangio would make Fangio happy.
Yeah. Have you guys heard about that guy, before we go, Simmons, who played for Fangio when he was in Denver? He wants to come to Philadelphia as a safety. Is that?
Yeah, well, the Eagles pursued him last offseason.
I remember that, yeah.
We didn't get him.
So, I don't know if he is he past his prime? Probably.
I mean, he's still on the market, so.
Yeah, he's there for a reason, right? Still there for a reason.
My into it for football, as you mentioned earlier, it's been kind of a little off the pedal.
Yeah.
Because it's a weird draft. And I haven't paid as much attention to the players as I normally do. I haven't paid as much attention to the rumors as I normally do. Granted, as I mentioned before, I know the camera color's not great. Got myself really into Formula One. Been kind of busy with that. Watching a lot of that. Pretty excited. Getting all excited with those races and such. So I'm like, football is football for now because it's not season. The draft itself, super hyped for. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Until after that, I think until preseason starts, So, and like I said, this year the draft I think the only thing that make me excited that's like really besides like the draft itself is the correct decisions. Like, I think we honestly do the NFL a favor. We call Tennessee. We say, hey, your GM's fired. Miguel takes over just for round one of the draft. Miguel makes the right pick.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, I don't think my biggest problem is looking at the prospects at quarterback and going, if I put them into next year's draft class, I don't think they're top 5 picks.
Yeah.
And if they're not top 5 picks compared to next year's quarterbacks, why am I wasting a top 5 pick on them now? Just because they're top 5 this year just means like they're better than the other quarterbacks this year, and the only reason they're top 5 is because they're quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because quarterbacks always, as we just noticed with Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, they tend to climb. Like Jalen Milroe says, like the 41st or something like ranked player on the board this year.
He's like the most athletic quarterback coming out.
He might go top 10.
Yeah.
And look at
like,
we didn't even pick him. We didn't even pick him this first round.
But he might next Thursday.
Yeah, look at that. He's on my TV right now.
Yeah. Everyone's on Miguel's TV.
Shot for shot, man. We are right on pace with that.
Yeah, we are.
Show.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. The Browns could be as psycho as Mike, and they could take Ashton Jeanty to start.
Yeah, why not?
For his sake, I would hope not.
Before we get out of here,
yeah,
what's the craziest prediction that you can think of that Howie will do for the Eagles?
I think I think what Mark did, jump up and get Abdul Carter. That's the craziest thing he could do.
I don't think Abdul Carter can possibly fall far enough for us to even remotely consider that. As much as I would love it.
So I'm gonna throw this out there, and I know we were in pursuit of Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
What if he signed that contract with a no trade clause, but only if he was going to trade it to the Eagles, and they're only waiting until draft day to make the announcement of the trade?
That'd be insane. That'd be like that's insane.
We trade out of the 32nd pick.
Yeah.
We give him the 32nd pick, and we give him like a second round next year.
Bryce Huff.
Maybe like 2 or 3 fourth round picks.
And Bryce Huff. Take Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff, obviously. Yeah, I'm not getting out of here.
That's amazing and insane that would be. I don't know if we could afford that. That contract is monstrous.
Well, how he does the restructuring. And
but you can only restructure so much when you gotta pay Carter.
Yeah,
you cannot let Carter walk.
Yeah,
I know he's only 2 years in, but like third year, he's gonna want some money after what he started to put up.
Yeah.
So he's gonna probably by the end of next year, he's gonna want to start talking contracts early, deserved.
Yeah,
but we're gonna need to make sure we got the bank. And as much as I would love to pull Myles Garrett in, but that contract he just signed, I think we're better off doing some crazy trade up to maybe pull off something like Jalen Walker or Shamar Stewart. That would be my excited move up trade. I think more likely how he does and trades out of the first. But of course, he would probably wait until the very end, so we stay up all night long.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
To watch it.
Of course.
You know what happened the last time we won the Super Bowl? I'm pretty sure we stayed up till, almost midnight, and then at pick 32, we went out.
Traded out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And it's like, Howie, I hate you.
So I want to leave a question for you to bring back next week when we talk in draft, because it'll be a topic that we'll talk about. Worst draft picks of all time by any Philadelphia team.
Mike Mamula.
I forget their name already. That how we drafted before he got fired and then brought back on.
Marcus
Jeff-
Smith.
Yeah,
Smith,
what was
yeah.
that? There's a reason we hired Chip, is because we had to teach Howie lesson. So when we came back, he'd be smarter.
The worst in Philadelphia sports is probably the year that they traded when they still had Barkley and brought in forget his name right now. But anyway, we'll answer that next week.
Next week. Well, think about it. Think about it. Bring it back to next week.
It sounds good to me.
Until then,
You know how we do. EAGLES.
Eagles.
Let's go,
Birds. World champ still, baby. Let's go. Hey, Mike, here's some draft music, bro.